Alright folks, golly, it's raining again. I'm going to try and film as much as I can today in a metal building, and it's raining again. So anyway, I'm going to try and give you a little walkthrough of what I got done on the bike last night. I turned the camera off because the battery's going dead. Got a few little things done, so I'm going to try and get this thing buttoned up today. Probably won't be able to ride it because, yeah, my yard's a swamp, and I don't really care to get it all muddy. So, but anyway, I did go ahead and get my powder coated kickstand on. Got that done. Already had this in. I think I showed y'all how to put that in. I did put the two little backing plates that hold the belt cover. I got those on. I got me a vent tube, which I haven't decided where I'm going to run the vent for the crankcase for the block yet until I get the gas tank on. I'm going to try and hide this tube somewhere underneath the gas tank. Got the throttle cable hooked up. Let's see. I think that was in the factory position. Just run it down here. They got the two little loops in the frame, little tabs. So I hit it there and then just routed it back around, so we got a nice, clean, snappy look. That's about it. Got that fender on there. So we're gonna go over here to the torque converter, take a gander at it. I already looked at the belt. Belt looks good. This is how I pulled everything off. I just pulled everything off, threw it in the bag so I didn't lose anything. But some of it needs to be cleaned up. Like this right here, it's just got a little bit of a, not really surface rust, it's just a little dirty. And might have a little rust on it. So I'm gonna go through and clean all this stuff up, inspect everything, get it wiped down. So we're gonna knock this out real quick. It's not in too bad a shape. Like I said, the belt already looked good, so we're gonna fly with that. But what I do with these here, this stuff needs to be pretty clean. So I just take this here Scotch-Brite pad and basically just give it a good little polishing. You don't really want to use sandpaper and leave ruts in it because everything needs to slide on this. So I'll make sure and clean the inside of this. It's kind of grungy. So I'll get this all cleaned up, blown out, wiped out. You want to make sure this slides real good, just like so. So you don't want any rust or crap on it. This already got a good coat of the factory graphite grease in there. So probably leave that. The springs all look good. I'll just go over this and get this off. This would probably just wear off when you start riding it with the belt. But I'm gonna get everything cleaned up. The bearings look good. So we're just gonna give it a little clean up here. Wipe it all down. I'll probably use some brake cleaner on a rag to get it all clean. I'll polish this up real good. That way we don't have any bondage on anything. Man, that rain is starting to come down. So might have to turn the camera off because it'll get extremely loud, like usual, but it'll be all right. All right, clean that up a little bit. Pull the bolt out, the spacer. These two bearings feel good because I'm gonna put all the factory stuff right back on it. So yeah, these feel good. All right, shoot a little air and go ahead and get something to wipe all this down. This looks good. Go with this back side, just give it a little light brushing. That little bit of surface rust right there is not gonna hurt much. It'll, as soon as we run the bike down the road once or twice, that'll come off. But we're already here, might as well just knock it down a little bit. Like I said, already checked the belt. Belt looks good. Bike don't have very much run time on it, so we're just gonna clean this up. I'll get it all wiped down, and we'll get this put on the bike. All right, well, it started pouring down rain. It got noisy in here again, so I did get the torque converter cleaned up, and while I had the camera off, I went ahead and took factory shocks off, and we upgraded and put these on there. So you want to upgrade your shocks, which the factory ones are not too bad. They're pretty good shock, but if you really like some of you guys, I see the Misfit guys, they bounce the fire out of these bikes, and you see a lot of guys upgrading the rear shocks. So if you want to upgrade your rear shocks from the factory ones, go on the Go Power Sports website, and they have some nice fancy ones. Actually, these are some that we got a while back off of somewhere. So I had them, so I'm going to use those. But check out their website because they have some cool upgraded shocks that you can go on. I did go ahead and get the chain on. See if we can shine you some light down here. I did go ahead and get the chain on. This lighting in here is crappy. I got the chain put on, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave the driver converter off because I got to thinking, oh hey, we need to run this motor and, you know, give it a good 20 minutes of break-in time. So I'll put that on very last. That way I can run the motor, don't have to worry about it taking off. But I'm going to get the chain and everything adjusted and lined up. So what I like to do is I'll look down the track of the chain, and then also I'll look down inside here at the sprocket on the rear sprocket, and then I can have everything lined up. And also, whenever you go to tighten your chain, you also want to loosen your brake bracket. There's a bracket right down here at the bottom that holds your brake disc. Well, this is bolted to the frame right here, and it's slotted, a little slot in it. So you want to make sure this bolt is loose, because if you're trying to adjust your chain and you don't loosen this bolt, then that's going to bind your brake bracket up that holds your brake disc. This bracket right here kind of comes down into an L, comes down. So loosen this bolt up, make sure that's loose, so everything, your whole axle and everything moves freely when you adjust it. And I like having the bike up off the ground so I can roll the tire. Turn that light off. So I can roll that tire around and make sure everything tracks good. And I also like to try and count the threads on each one of the adjusters on the back here for each. But you got the tire off the ground, that way you can roll it. Watch where your teeth right inside your chain, follow it down. So it's fixing to start pouring down rain again, so I'm gonna go ahead and get that done and see what else we can get done in between the rain showers. Alrighty, y'all ready to see this snazzy tank? This is the Go Power Sports tank, and I had a little something extra special done to it. Didn't paint this, but I had something special done to it, so we're gonna assemble this tank. Get back. Get this box out of the way. Now check this out. Anybody know what that logo is? Can y'all see that? Ooh, get back. Anyway, y'all probably find out if you watch the whole entire video. Y'all know what this logo means later on. But anyway, this is Go Power Sports tank. I showed y'all how I put the front supports in the frame to mount it, where you can use the little factory little pockets that are in here on both sides. Got my little stubs welded on the frame, already got the rubbers cut and put on there. So basically all I'll need to do is slide this tank down on, and then I'll come from the back. I got my insert in the top tube. Already got a little rubber grommet inside here. Now, these are some I just had laying around. You can find you a piece of bicycle tube, some kind of rubber. I put a piece underneath and a piece on the top. I'm also going to use a big flat washer, which I had laying right here. So I'm going to use a big flat washer, lock washer, to secure it down once I got it set into place. But before we go put everything on, I figured I'd lay it right here and assemble the deal. You get a lock and gas cap. You get 2 keys with it. And then also you get a pitcock. And what I really like about these tanks, they fit good, they look good on the bike. But if you're out riding around on the trails all weekend or whatever, you actually have a reserve valve on this. So you can actually turn the gas off. So if you got it on, which is on is all the way in the down position, just like so, then you have off will be straight across, because it's really not labeled. They have some kind of little symbols, which they look identical to me. But all the way down is going to be your fuel on, straight across is your fuel off. And if you fit the little lever all the way up towards the bottom of the tank, because this is how it's going to be mounted, all the way up is going to be your reserve. So, and to mount this, this tube and everything can come out if you ever got to clean it. This tube comes off the pickup tube. It's a screen. This goes right down inside here, kind of pops into place, just slides right in. Then you have a little O-ring right inside here. I'm just going to push this O-ring down into place past the threads, because I pulled it all apart to look at it. So I pushed the little black O-ring down there where the nut spins good. And this is, I think this is a 19mm nut. You don't need to put Teflon tape or anything on it. You're just going to screw it right into place. If I can see what I'm doing, just like so. Screw that down. And I want this aiming right out the side where it's easy access. I think this is a 19. Yes, 19. Just hold your valve where you want it. And you ain't got to get crazy with this. Just give it a good snug. Yep. That's a little crooked. How about that? Yep, I like that. All right, got it here. I'm also go ahead and pull the little seal thing off that they put on there. All right, get the gas cap put on. See, it's got a lock. You need to unlock it first. Put it on. That rubber's kind of tight. That locks it. Roll your dust cover back over. And make sure you don't lose your key. All right, so let's get this thing mounted on the back. Bike. All right, let's go ahead and get the tank mounted on here. I'm gonna put just a little bit of, smear just a little bit of grease on these rubber pieces. That way it might help it slide on there a little bit easier. These are little rubber stoppers that I put over the bosses that I welded into the frame, which I found that pretty easy to mount up. All right, got my bolt here. Let me sit this somewhere, I'll drop it. All right. I'm just gonna ease this right down over the two rubber stoppers. So I can see it. Just like so. Look at that, like a glove. All right, what do I do with my ratchet? Golly. Oh, here it is. All right, take my bolt, my flat washer and lock washer, push it right down in that rubber grommet. Look at that, like butter. Now if you need to ever take your tank off, it makes it fairly easy. You just got one bolt, you pull that bolt out, and you're good to go. Everything's rubber mounted, nothing's gonna squeak, rattle. You won't have anything gonna rub a hole in the side of it. And you'll be good to go. That looks pretty sharp. Got the silver motor, some silver accents, and silver in the side. I got the side plates also, they're gonna match the silver in here, so we're gonna put those probably on last. I still got to get the header on, air cleaner. I'm gonna go find some fuel line and figure out what we're gonna do with the vent tube, and also the vent on the back of the valve cover. I want to try and tuck that up and hide it so it kind of gives it an open, clean look down there. Get all the fingerprints off. All right, I'm gonna go find some fuel line, or we'll get the header put on. We just about got this thing wrapped up. Get the seat. I do need to put the chain guard on, and if you do put these shocks on, and if you run the chain guard, you'll actually have to put you a notch kind of in the top of here. Let me grab you this other one I got laying here. This is the one I robbed off the wife's bike, so I can kind of show you what you got to do. I just kind of notch this out. Took a pair of tin snips and notch it out so you'll have plenty of room for the big coils in the shock are going to be right in this area. So if you do decide to go with the aftermarket shocks, you will need to notch this top part out. So I need to get this notched out, and I'm going to use hers as a template. Get this put on, the header put on, and man, we're just about ready for fire up time. It's starting to rain again. All right, let's get the header bolted on, and we're just about ready for fire up time. Grab the header. Got it all blasted, and I put a little slash tip that I made on the end of it, kind of get it out a little bit. I think it'll look pretty good. All right, got a gasket on there. Throw a couple lock washers on it. Nuts. Already got oil in the bike. Got gas in the tank. Matter of fact, let's go ahead and just turn this gas on. The valve on the carburetor's on. Let that fill up. And we should be ready to crank it up. And then I'll come back later after I let the motor run and give it some break-in time. I usually crank the idle up to about 2,000 RPM. Give it about a good 20 minutes. I usually run it through a couple heat cycles. Let it get hot and cold several times. And I'll drop the oil in it, because there's a little assembly lube I use, so I'll get all that oil out, put fresh oil in it, and we should take it out for its maiden voyage, which is probably not going to be today because my yard's a flooded swamp. But we'll at least get it ready for when the sun comes out. All right, that looks good. Gas is on, the bowl should be full now. Let's go around that side. Let's see here. How about we sit right here? It's probably gonna be loud, but hey, it'll be all right. How we look? Yeah, right there. All right, let me get my tachometer and a screwdriver. I work on a lot of two-strokes back in the day, so I have a little pocket tachometer thing. Just hold it against and it reads a pulse off the spark plug. That way I can set my RPMs. So, am I gonna be able to get back here with this screwdriver? Yeah. All right, that gas is on. Give it a little choke. Let's see. That should be on there. All right. Y'all cross your fingers while I see if it runs. See how many pulls it takes. We'll say 5. We'll crack the throttle a little bit. Everything should be on. Gas on, choke. All right, oil's in it, gas on. All right. Woo! Uh-oh. Got some hardware here, and we're gonna get the side covers put on this rascal, get the air filter put on it, let the motor cool down from the heat cycle, and so we're getting close to getting this thing wrapped up. Let's grab one of these and let's get them put on the bike here. I'm gonna use different bolts. I had some leftover fan shroud bolts. They got the nice pretty silver head on them, so I figured these would go pretty good on here since we got the silver. I think it looks better than the little black bolts, but we'll save them black bolts for something else. One more. It's starting to look like a bike now. I'm still debating about this pull starter. I don't know. I think I'm gonna change that out and put a regular starter on it. That big snow blower style handle is not doing much for me. I mean, it's very functional, especially if you got a race bike and you got to wear gloves and everything. It's easier to reach down with your hand and grab that. But on this particular bike, I don't know. What do y'all think? Ditch it, put a regular one on it, or leave it? I'm kind of thinking we ought to just ditch it, put a regular handle on it. Screwdriver, put this over here. All right. One more side plate on this one. Okie dokie. Then I go over, check all the nuts and bolts. Like I said, I like to get it out and ride it today, but it would be filthy muddy time I got done with it. So, probably gonna have to wait for another day, but that's good. We'll just keep letting it run through a few heat cycles and make sure everything's good. We ain't got no oil leaks, no fuel leaks. No crazy noises, so we'll run it through a couple more times, and I'll go ahead and put the converter on it and the driver, or your torque converter, the front one, whatever you would like to call it. Get the belt put on it, get the cover, throw the seat on it, and then I can get up here and readjust the bars, see how they feel. But we're about done. All right, this one's tight. Okie doke. Let's get the air filter on it. We get the air filter on it, and then we're gonna sock it to it. Get it? Sock it to it. Yeah. Y'all didn't catch that very funny, did you? Anyway, roll that right back down here. I'm gonna put my clamp on the bottom. Yeah, that handle's got to go. I don't like it. Plus, it's too big and it's in the stinking way. All right, we're gonna roll that right underneath the side cover, or the engine side plate, whatever you'd like to call that. Get down here and tighten the screw up. Now, I probably ought to put this sock on here first. Let's sock it to it first, because this is real close. You can notch this out if you want, but if you just roll this filter down just a little bit where it's kind of aiming down at the foot peg, it gives you enough room, and there's still enough room to get your foot peg up and down. Now, as far as using your foot peg, air filter is going to kind of be in the way a little bit. Okay, I got the sock on, and I thought I would see if I can zoom in here on this. I've seen and heard of some people saying, hey, I've got the stage 1 kit, put it on, put the heavy breather on, the header pipe, jetted it, etc. And once they did that, they had problems with it cranking. I have found when you put the heavy breather on, sometimes when you go to choke it, let me see if I can zoom in here. Your choke lever doesn't want to close all the way, so that makes your bike hard to start, because basically you're not choking it all the way. Because what happens sometimes, I've seen it, in this particular case it did, when you go to use your choke lever and choke it, the rubber part of the heavy filter restricts your arm from coming all the way over to full choke, if you follow what I'm saying. So what I did, see if I can zoom in here, I took a razor blade, I got my filter pod, I got the filter pod where I wanted it, where everything's clear, got it slid on all the way, and then I'll come down here and I'll choke it, and I'll make me a little mark on the top, and then I'll get the choke out of the way, and I'll take a razor blade and I'll cut just a little bitty V in it. Not all the way, just a slight V, because you don't need to take out much, but when you do that, it allows your arm to go right in that notch you cut out, and you'll have a full choke. So if you install one of the breathers and you jet your carburetor and you're still having problems with it choking, make sure this closes all the way. And this particular time, I've put some on and had no problems. I think it all depends on who manufactures the arm or whatever. I mean, because pretty much all the breathers, I think, I've looked at, are all the same. Sometimes these arms are a little bit wider right here. Sometimes they're real narrow and skinny. So if it's narrow and skinny, then it'll close all the way and won't hit your breather. So take a look at that. You can always, what you can do is you can put it in the closed position where the rubber's hitting, take your breather and slide it off, look at your choke plate on the inside of the carburetor, and if it's not closed all the way, or you can move your arm over some, then you're not getting full choke, which could cause you having problems with your engine being hard to start. You're not getting a full choke. So take a look at that. It's a real simple fix. If it's not getting a full choke, just cut you a little bitty V in that rubber right there. Doesn't have to be deep. You're not cutting all the way through it. It's still going to seal. You won't get any dirt ingested in your carburetor or engine. Small V, and then you're good to go. Hope that helped some of y'all folks. All right, let me go find some more parts. We'll get back to finishing this thing up. Okay, welcome back. It finally stopped raining. Got the door open. So we're going to go ahead and get the torque converter, the belt, and rest off the assembly on. We're going to throw the seat on it. And if the rain don't start again, we're going to see if we can roll it across my swampy yard, get it out on the road, and we're going to take it for its maiden voyage, and then we'll get it wiped down, double check all the bolts after a good shakedown ride, and this one should be complete. But let's go ahead and get this on. We got a couple spacers. This is what it was, everything was on it when I took it off. Got this spacer here. All right, then let's go ahead and get the belt on. I'm pretty sure a lot of you put the belt on, but there's a certain way the belt goes. And when you're lining everything up, this one's basically just a remove and replace, R&R. So I put everything right back where it was at from the factory. But the back side of your belt is flat, and the inside of your belt is tapered right here. So whenever you're lining your drive and your driven converters up, you want to make sure that the back plate here and the back plate on your engine are nice and lined up. You can run you a ruler across there or a straight edge, because if you got one that's out of whack, it's going to make your belt track funny, wear your belt out, and so on and so forth. But we'll go ahead and route the belt. I got my flat side against the engine, And let's see, we'll put the backing plate on. It's got a keyway already in it. Get that slid on. Now this plate and this plate here need to be perfectly in line with each other. Let's put the belt back on. And we're going to roll it right over the bearing. We might have to open this one up a little bit. Get the belt down in there. Pull that out. Get that belt tucked down in there. Give me some slack, just like so. And this will spring back. All right, back here, both backing plates look good in line. All right, and I went and cleaned everything up. This is still got the little graphite grease in there, so we left that. All that looks good. I polished up the slide, make sure it's clean inside and out, and also clean the inside of this where your guide rides. I took a wire brush, make sure all this is nice and clean. So we'll put the plate back on. Actually, we go ahead and put this here. The side with the two lines goes to the outside, because that's what your outside plate locks in. So we're going to slide this on. Got on the keyway. Line that up. Get the outside shield on. Cover. Let's see, get my bolt down here, which has already got the flat washer and lock washer on it. Go ahead and slide this off. Line this up. It's got a little notch right here for your keyway. That should fit all the way flush like that. I'm going to hold that into place. Make sure I get my nuts started by hand first. Then I'll take my impact driver, drive it home. All right. Spin it, make sure everything looks good. All right. Let me grab the cover. We'll go ahead and put the cover on this thing. Normally I like to leave the cover off and run it and make sure that way you can see what your belt and converters are both doing. But I feel pretty confident we should not have any problems. All right. Got us a nice clean cover. And you got 3 bolts. You got 2 on the top, 1 at the bottom. And I usually try and get them all, let's see, let's pull that bottom out. They got a flat washer with them. I'm gonna get them all started first. That way it's kind of easier to line them up. If I can see the hole. But you can't. Airplane. All right, got that one started. Get one more started down here on the bottom. Let me get my flashlight where I can see. Let's see, where's the hole at? It's in here somewhere. Where is it? I know it's in there. Probably help if I wasn't blind. There she is. All right, got it. Had to finagle it around a little bit. Now we got them all started. Let's get them tight. Run them all down. That ought to do it. One more at the bottom. We might get it done before it starts raining again. All right, got that. Let me go grab the seat. Let's get the seat on it. Turn my flashlight off and see if we can't take it for a rip. All right, should be the last piece to this puzzle. See if we can't get the seat on here. Put that here, and you gotta hook it at the front. A little flat washer and a nut at the back. And we ought to be ready to ride. This is a 10mm nut. If I can get it started. There we go. Get my wrench to go the right way. All right. We'll give it a good wipe down. All right. We'll give it a, I think everything's good. I'll double check over some bolts on the front end, make sure everything was tight. I'll give it a, we'll take it around the block, give it a good run through, and I always like to check all the nuts and bolts after I rode a little bit, make sure everything jives, and make sure we don't have any problems. All right, let's see if we can get it to the street. All right, folks, Mother Nature has graced us with a little bit of sunshine. So, since the sun's shining, we're gonna take a walk around this bike real quick before the clouds come out. See what this thing looks like in the sun, and try out this new selfie stick the wife got me, and we're gonna go for a rip snort. So let's take a look at it, see how she turned out. Not too shabby. And if you seen earlier in the videos before I took this thing apart, it was pretty dusty. Hadn't been rode in a long time. It's kind of been sitting in the corner. So we didn't do nothing too fancy with it. Just gave it a little facelift, new fenders. Gave her a good fuel tank system. Go Power Sports. A little extra shockage. And we put a little bump stick in the motor. A little bump stick, some springs. So, I think it turned out extremely well. So, let's, I think everything looks good. Let's take it for a rip. Woo, it's hot. Oh, mail lady's here. Probably got parts for me. All right, we'll check it out later. All right. I knew the sun wouldn't last long. All right, you ready for a ride? Let's rip it. We're just gonna ease it around the block. That's all. How we look here? Yeah, about that. A little eye protection on. Woo. Kickstands up. ride's good. It's comfy. I think I need to put a little bit of air in this back tire. Yeah, we'll probably put a little air in this back tire. All right, folks. Well, there you have it. There's another facelift on the MB200. And I'm gonna try and incorporate a little added trailer to this video if all possible. And hopefully that works out. That's a maybe. But anyway, hope y'all enjoyed this video. Thank y'all very much for watching. Thanks for all my subscribers, all those folks that leave me comments. If you want to leave me a comment or you want to share this video, feel free. And I'll leave a description and the link below to any of the parts I use from GoPowersports.com. And I want to greatly appreciate them for supplying those parts for this build. So for any of your go-karts or mini bike projects that you have, go check those folks out. And when you're placing an order in the little link box in the bottom, hey, tell them Rick from Busted Knuckles Build sent you, and they will hook you up with some parts. Thank you all once again for watching. Hope you enjoyed it, and stay tuned for the next build. See what we can conjure up in the shop. Y'all have a great day. See y'all around.